Guess what, Ralph?
What's that, Jules?
On the 1st of April, our retirees got a 3% pay rise.
A 3% pay rise. Chelsea, is that going to be enough?
No, probably not. We've got the Massey University research that they do, the retirement expenditure study each year, and they look at how much is coming in from New Zealand Super and how much the households are actually spending. And the most recent study that came out still said the gap between what our retirees are getting from New Zealand Super and what they're spending is around about $54 to $1,000 a week. So I'm not sure 3% is going to match.
All right, Chelsea, you're so right as always. You've heard the saying statistics and damn statistics.
Yes.
Why don't we unpack some of these a bit just to help people?
Mm-hmm.
The increase of 3.5% is a combination of two things. First is the government looks at the change in wages in the last 12 months, and that moved about 2.22%. Yep. Then it looks at CPI, the Consumer Price Index, which is the average change in prices or costs over the last 12 months, and that was up to 3.5%. So when they decide how much to give the retirees, they take the higher of the two, normally sort of rounding out at about 66% of the average wage. So they took the CPI increase of 3.5%. So then, as you say, you're going to have a look at the good old Massey survey, and the Massey survey showed that the actual increase for retirees in the last 12 months was 3.4%. So you could sit back and argue, well, that's very fair, that'll work. But as you point out, Giles, it won't work because it's 3.5% increase on a number that's already not enough to meet needs in retirement.
Yes, yeah, no, absolutely. And we know these retirees because, we work with them every single day. And the reality is the Retirement Commission did a study around, who's living off New Zealand Super and who's not. And the reality in New Zealand today is 60% of Kiwis over the age of 65 are mainly living off New Zealand Super. I challenge those people out there that aren't retired today to, if you're a couple or a single person, try living off $1,600 a fortnight or $1,000 a fortnight if you're a single person, and see how far your money's stretched. We get a lot of information through the media saying our boomers own all the property and they're sloshing around in a huge amount of wealth. But these aren't the people I know. These are not the people that we're meeting every day. They are basically living off New Zealand Super and maybe a little bit more.
100%. And Chelsea, as you're saying earlier, the 3.5% increase is driven off effectively the spending patterns and behaviours of people who are working. Life and retirement is so different. The expense patterns are so different. Think about health insurance for a 65-year-old versus a 35-year-old. Think about utilities and the cost of living and transportation. The expense base in retirement is just so different. It's a bit unfair, really, to drive it just off a working person's experience.
Yes, it is. But we do have some good news. The winter energy supplement is coming back.
Yes.
On the 1st of May. I think it's around about $20 for a single person and $30 for a couple a week.
Sound.
So that's not too bad, but I don't know about you guys, or you, but I got a letter telling me my power bill's going up as well. So I think it is give with one hand and take it with the other hand.
Got it.
Now that goes through until I think about the 1st of October. Retirees don't have to do anything. If they are on New Zealand Super, it just automatically starts to come through with their New Zealand Super.
Sound. It's something, it's helpful. But to your point again, Chelsea, it's that gap that we've got to sort out.
Yes.
Average New Zealanders in retirement today have a very real expense gap that's got to be covered over and above mighty NZ Super.
Yes.
We'd be lost without NZ Super. It's magic, but it's just not enough.
It's not, and it's not about these people living these massive luxury lives.
Exactly.
It's actually just maintaining the lifestyle they had while they were working, what I found.
Exactly.
So these are just basic fundamentals like enjoying going to the movies, catching up with friends, being able to have a coffee and a cake, every now and then, when they're not asking to go on massive trips to Europe.
Exactly. Chelsea, we're often asked, how much do I need to live in retirement? And it's one of the hardest questions to answer. And everyone seems to have an answer for it. You hear about millions of dollars and God knows what else. The most common sort of answer we point to is whatever you were earning just before retirement, you'll probably need about 80% of that for probably the first 10 to 15 years of your retirement. And it might come down to about 65 to 70 in the next 15 years. And that's kind of the measuring stick that we use. As you say, it's linked to your lifestyle prior to retiring. Spot on, Chelsea.
Yes. So, in a wrap-up sense, how do we want to...
Thank you for the 3.5%. Grateful for that, and it is helpful. The heating subsidy is also helpful, but as we all know, we've got to find solutions to help retirees bridge the gap over and above what they've just been given.
100%. If you want to know how Lifetime Retirement Income does it, you can head to our website at lifetimeincome.co.nz.
Thanks, Chelsea.
Thank you, Ralph.